hold the guy, right? Sometimes we go over his arm, block his hip. Why would I block his hip here?
So he can't turn into you?
So it's hard for him to put me in guard, right? Is there a time where I might want to even do this and block here? Sometimes I might, okay? Even if I can hip escape, I can try to pin his hips to my knee, okay? Going over his shoulder here, stops his arm here. Going around his head here sometimes just keeps him so he can't turn into me, so he only turn away if he's going to turn. Like, there's a reason for all the different holds I do, okay? I usually come in here for when I'm setting this one up. At some point, I'm going to get his head here, okay? Just setting up this position I'm going to get here. And I go right under his arm here, okay? If for some reason I'm passing and he kind of has his arm open here, and I get under this arm, I take that too, right here. The idea is I want to get his head and his arm and crush his head to his shoulder right here, okay? But typically, you know, the guy's going to be covering up, okay? So I can't get under it the traditional way, so I go under this elbow right here and start to wedge myself under here using a gable grip here, okay? Once I get in here, yeah, he can still kind of try to turn out, turn in. I still keep up with him here, okay? The most common thing that he's going to do, and what I'm hoping he's going to do, is start to try to turn towards me to hip escape away, okay? Now, I'm not blocking his hip, so he can get his hip escape away, and I'm not blocking with my hand or whatever, so it's easier for him to get his leg in. So if I just stood here, kidding him here, okay, go ahead and turn into me. You can put his knee in, put your hand across, okay, and then I have problems. Okay, two things are going to slow him down. One is controlling his chin. If I keep my shoulder and I keep his chin turned down this way, hard like this, just turn into me. Control that chin. It makes it really hard for him to turn into me, okay? So it's forcing him to just kind of stay more level. See, if he can turn his chin, turn into me, he can turn into me, no problem. Back real fast with the hip escape. So the way I do that is the first control you have to learn is when I get my arm under him, okay, I kind of just tighten up like here, and I'm going to pull this elbow back to my hip, just like this. So it tightens, and then I just pull my elbow. Think of pulling this elbow back to your hip, almost like a karate kiai. So his head's going to be looking this way. It might even be starting to turn towards me like this, okay? Just tighten it here. I don't have to grab his head, but I'm just tightening my arm here. And then once it tightens, I pull my elbow here. So now how's that feel? Okay. See, this is very subtle, because if you just see me here holding like this, you might think like, oh, well, I'm kind of doing the same grip, you know, but Joey's actually very comfortable here. If I get him tight here, now it's going to make it hard for him to turn back into me, right? You feel that different, Joe? Right there. His chin's turned, okay? Once I get it kind of turned here, the other part is if you put a little weight on his chin. If I'm sitting here and I just hold him like this, there's nothing, like he feels fully comfortable. I lean a little bit right here and I put a weight on my chin, on his chin. It's really making it uncomfortable for him, okay? I'm looking for him to start to turn towards me, right there, like that. It starts to kind of turn towards me. If I stay here long enough, he's going to be able to hip escape. Hip escape comes in. The only way to really stop when he turns in like that, let alone of swimming backwards like this, besides that, and block his hip, is just use my knee right here. Okay? So as soon as he starts to try to hip escape, I just slide this knee right here. And I keep this grip, this death grip right here. So I've turned his head in, I've kind of crushed it, and then I lock my hands, and I'm squeezing my elbows together. I'm trying to bring his head and chin together right here. Okay? If he tries to roll, I'm keeping this hip low. Very important. If you keep this knee, if I'm up on my knee, he can roll me very easily. If I drop this hip low to the ground, roll me. It's not happening. It's not happening. Way different than if this leg comes up. So different. Okay? Very important. A lot of you guys, I see you guys get this grip. I see you guys put your weight on his chin right here. Come on, your elbow back a little bit. Okay? I see all that. I don't do this. Okay, for this, a lot of you guys look like this. And that's why you need to roll. If I drop my hip down right here, roll. It's not happening. It's so much heavier. Okay? I'm looking for the mount in this position. Okay? So speed this up. Okay? Whether he's trying to put his arm inside here, like Joey was kind of doing here, trying to block me up, it doesn't matter once I put the knee here. I want to wedge the knee over his hip, you know, work it to there. I don't want to be in a hurry to mount, okay? I'm not doing this just to mount. I'm doing this to make him suffer right here. I want him to suffer. Hip low, head down. If he tries to roll me, I can use my head for a plant. If he's really big and strong, I can kind of use my hand here to post. Do it again. Now I have so much control over him. He just gives it up. Okay. If he just kind of stays there too, keeping my hip low, I want to keep that knee right in there. Typical thing what a guy starts to do is he feels his knee, he wants to push my knee. Very good technique for him right there. Okay? I am anticipating that. So as soon as I do this and he starts to push at it, I'm just keeping his hand off. Keep going. Try to push it. I don't care about his other hand. I just don't want him on it. Okay? Don't extend it too much because then he'll get his hand away. So from here, gets on, he starts to push it. You get his hand walk. Just keep it away. And I keep turning his head. Let's go back here. Whenever I feel a little lost control, I turn his head more. Because if I leave his head here, he can really start to turn back in and do this. See that? So as I do this, he tries to push for my head. I turn his head. And this is wearing him out. Okay. So under, you know he's going to start to try to hip escape. Knee, he tries to block that. You just keep it off. Start turning his head. Post with your head. Get the knee to the ground. Once your knee gets to the ground, you want to start doing a hand walk. Okay. So he starts to push. You try to go for my knee again. Like this. You take an inch. He gives it. You don't give it back. And whenever you feel like it now, you take them out. You don't let go of this head and arm. He wants to roll really hard one way or the other. So I like it when he just goes to the side I'm already on. I'm turning his head so it's hard for him to roll the other way. Roll the other way. You can't. If he really wants to turn this way real hard, roll. And goes back. He wants to come back real hard again. The whole time you're on him like a freaking movie. Okay? It all starts with learning this position here. You gotta learn the balance. Okay? Here. Okay? We got this lock, pressure, slight pressure on his chin. It's not this. Straight over. Leaning a little bit towards his chin. Knee comes up, locking him from it. I don't care about the other arm, just this one. Turning his chin right here. Okay? Alright, when I feel like it, walk this up high. Take him out. Keep turning the chin. Let's just work on that. I know it took me a long time to explain that. There's really only a couple concepts on there, okay? Turning his chin, pressure on his chin, catching that head and arm in the beginning. If he's like this, we just come under it. You're gonna advance for the mount with the knee here. He tries to block it, you keep his hand off of it. The hand that's on that side, okay? You get the knee to the ground, but you want your shin to lay across it. Okay, just keep that hand off your knee. Walk it up. Okay? What this does is, every time you take this much distance, if he pushes back like this, the pressure digs in the mat, he can't go. Okay? If you can get his elbow all the way up here, even better. Take them out and keep turning his head. Every time he fights, keep turning his head. Right here, every time he fights, keep turning the head right there. He ain't going nowhere. Right? It's really a tough position for him to fight. And then there's some dirty stuff you can do from there too. And I'm holding this sometimes too, and this guy's trying to be too relaxed, and he doesn't want to like, I want him to panic a little bit. The more he panics from this, when I have him so tight, the more he's gonna get tired. So what I do is I cover his face with my neck and my hair. Makes it hard for him to breathe, even in here. So when his arm, he tries to push my knee away, he is smothering. You having trouble breathing? Yeah, I'm smothering him. So at this point, I got him so tight, he starts to really panic to try to get out. And plus he's not breathing, he's gonna tire out really fast. All right, get a partner.